you hear, ladies and gentlemen, the group stage, or rather knockout stage draw about to start. So as it is, let me give you a quick reminder on the rules of the group draw. The #1 seeds will be drawn first. All first seeds will play a second seed. The one important thing to note here is that teams from the same group may not be on the same side of the bracket. Not just in the same matchup, on the same side of the bracket. Don't worry, we'll break it down for you as the names are polled. So first up, our #1 seed.
I'm so excited for this.
Ooh.
It's like Christmas.
I mean,
Watch.
We have a 50-50 basically.
Pulling the names for us.
So this means that G2 cannot be on the same side of the bracket as Afrika.
That is correct.
Yeah. 50% chance that RNG and KT.
There will be a little bit of waiting period here, as
different
obviously
side
we only have
bracket.
one team loaded up. So no matchups determined just yet.
Yeah, but we will get to find out if KT and RNG are on different sides of the bracket. Do we know if the next poll goes top right or bottom left?
Bottom left. Top
So-
left, bottom left.
Okay.
Top right, bottom right.
no.
If you get KT RNG
Please,
now,
please, 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 please.
you can get that final.
I think it's orange. Oh,
It's-
no!
Who is it? Who is it?
What's it gonna be?
It's
It's
Fnatic!
Fnatic.
Oh my goodness!
All right. So Fnatic to the bottom left of the bracket.
Oh!
Listen, this is the best thing ever for Fnatic.
Interesting.
This means
This is the best thing for
Fnatic
Fnatic.
can make finals in this
exactly.
draw.
You can take
They
Fnatic
can.
to the finals here because KT and RNG, at best, if they win, that means they meet in the semifinals.
Exactly. Now, if Fnatic
Wow.
win and Afrika win, they will face each other in the semifinal.
Yep.
And their chances of the teams that they'll face will either be, what, Cloud9 or Edward Gaming.
Watch drawing our next one seed. It looks like it will be RNG going to the top right. MLXG, the representative of RNG on stage. We do have a player from each team. We have Keen representing Afrika Freaks, as I mentioned, MLXG. Smeb, the representative for KT, and Mako for EDG. G2's Wadid, C9's Blabber, IG's Rookie, and Fnatic's Reckless. Just to confirm, this is KT, so
And
there you
coming
have
into
it.
this tournament, we were all saying we hope RNG and KT will be on opposite sides. That is like the dream final before the tournament started.
That wasn't Fnatic's dream.
Not
Fnatic's
Fnatic's
on the
dream.
other side
Yeah, I
of
was
the
going to
bracket.
say, from a viewer's perspective,
This is the best thing for Fnatic ever.
I don't
Yes.
know about you, but I almost have confidence that in a best-of-5, Fnatic take KT or RNG all the way in that form.
so here's where things get interesting. The 2 seeds will be drawn. Watch polling the first. Let's see where they head.
All right, what are the matchups? So this goes top left.
Cloud9, they
right
will
away.
slot in up against Afrika Freaks.
You know what?
Are you ready for
Cloud9,
That is a fantastic
That's
draw.
it's about as good as you can hope for. Yeah, that's
You're either
that's
hoping
great.
a Freak or a
That's as
Fnatic.
good as you
Either
can
way,
hope
you
for.
ended up on the same
With
side
how
of the
Fnatic
bracket.
looked today, I thought maybe with the EU versus an anything you'd want it, but with watching Fnatic, I think this is what's seen.
That's an NAEU semi,
We have
possibly.
2 Western teams now on the left side. G2 cannot be on the same side
Yep.
as Afrika, so they have to go to the right side.
It's
The LPL.
Fnatic Edward Gaming, isn't it?
If
Yes,
EDG
it
doesn't get
is.
pulled here,
Here we go.
there's so much sadness in the LPL because that would mean, or no,
2015
Wait, yes.
flashing before my eyes right now.
EDG has to go against Fnatic.
All right, the second 2 seed to be polled here.
they don't. You're right.
The anticipation is so great. G2.
G2 RNG.
Again, they will slot into the right side of the bracket because they cannot go to the same side as Afrika Freaks.
And I just want to point out that Jonan in an interview said if they get RNG, he's confident his Heimerdinger can beat Uzi.
But when it comes to the rest of the 80 carries, not so sure. Sharing a handshake up there on stage would need an MLXG. We've got 2 more matchups.
Yep, this is always the part that fools me often and a lot of the viewers. It's because the people in the same group can't be on the same side of the bracket. Is again why G2 jumped to RNG instead of playing against Fnatic.
The 2015 rematch.
EDG.
Fnatic 3-0.
They're going to be
EDG
heading over
last time.
to Fnatic's side.
Or was it 2016? I try to
In
forget a lot of
2015
those
World
years.
Championship, that's when Fnatic made it to the semifinals along with Origin.
Which means it's Invictus Gaming
Against
versus
KT.
KT.
Oh, man.
We will confirm that with the draw here. We must do our due diligence. But if all goes right, that is an IG, and our bracket is locked with that.
The reunion for Rookie here.
Rookie and Smeb.
Former KT Arrow, now, excuse me, Bullet, now gets to face the KT squad.
All right. We have our matchups. I'm staring across the desk. We're not on camera right now. I see some...
We got
I see faces that are struggling to comprehend and grasp the complexities of this, and I already see people charting paths to finals for their regional teams. I mean, I think if you're a Western fan, in particular of Fnatic or C9, you are over the moon with the draws that they got and the possibility of a run to a finals, let alone a semi.
I mean, I know it sucks to draw a Korean first seed, but Africa, as we said before, did not look that strong in the group stages. C9 had a lot of surprises, a lot of surprise picks. Very interesting play style. They will be facing them. I think it's C9's best chance of knocking out a first seed as well.
I mean, just think about the way Licorice played in the group stage. Like, you think he could match up with Keen, and the Africa was controlling the map, but getting slow incremental advantages for Keen. If C9 has counter picks ready for that stuff, you can see Africa having a lot of trouble with C9.
That's the thing. Africa are known for their draft, their preparation, their discipline, and they're against Cloud9, the team who's pulled out so many different pocket picks to try to throw a wrench in all of that. And we don't know if maybe they revealed their entire hand, if they still have some gas left in the tank there. I think this might be super tricky for Africa if Cloud9 have more trump cards.
Oh yeah, Champion Select is going to be a joy to watch in that best of 5. Thinking about the Fnatic and EDG matchup as well, though. I mean, Fnatic just took down IG, you know, the higher seed from the same region as EDG. So I think that alone would instill some confidence before we even begin talking about play styles and strategic matchup.
And how important was that? Because if they wouldn't have won that last game, they wouldn't be playing KT.
To win. That's tiebreaker. This is so good. Like, for Fnatic, I think you were looking at all the second seeds, and you couldn't play IG again. Obviously, you looked at the other 3 and said, fair enough, EDG might be the strongest on paper out of the 3, but they're not that scary when you just took down IG. And after you saw Africa, you knew G2 could not be on your side, so the Fnatic G2 could not happen. And that's why you are just actually happy that you get Africa. And then you don't actually care what second seed you get, as long as Africa is on your side compared to KT or RNG when it comes to making a final.
But what's the Edward Gaming perspective here? Are they happy with this draw as well? Because they're avoiding the likes of RNG, KT, and whatnot.
I mean, I guarantee you that they're chuckling about it because it is Fnatic. I know that Fnatic, at least from a Chinese fan's perspective, it is quite funny when they meet Fnatic just because of the history that that team has specifically against LPL teams. But you're correct. You just have to flip it the other way and you say, okay, yeah, EDG drew Fnatic. They look terrifying right now. But ultimately, then you're still looking at Africa as the LCK seed, and you do dodge KT and RNG as the tournament, you know, pre-tournament favorites, if you will. So I think this looks disastrous for Edward Gaming, but if they're on the other side, that looks just as bad.
Yeah, I agree.
Which brings us to that very scary right-hand side of the bracket, if we still consider RNG and KT to be the favorites. G2. Now, this was one of the teams, one of the surprises of the tournament, though. This is a team that, from the play-ins, struggled to start and has slowly ramped their way into it. Impressed us up to this point.
Yes, and it's rough if you are G2 with RNG on your side. However, I do want to highlight that RNG solo laners this tournament have not been that scary, and G2's way of playing is very based around Wonder and Perks, specifically getting advantages in the early game and becoming a split push team, which is a potential answer to one of the best team fighting teams in the world. That's all I can say regarding good things in this matchup. I'm not going to call G2 favorites by any means.
Yeah, I think there's definitely going to be some concerns about the lopsidedness of that matchup. You know, if you do consider that the attention for G2 will be around the solo lanes for RNG, the bot lane is always where we're looking. And while Hjarnan may be confident in the Heimer versus anything Uzi matchup, beyond that point, when the Heimer hits the ban table, I'm not so sure about how well they'll fare against the likes of Uzi and Ming.
I mean, the fact of the matter is that RNG had to bring MLXG and Karsa, though, so they don't have Zatai up into that top lane. And when they have played as a 1-3-1 team, they usually do it with Zatai up there. Just to echo Deficio, Letme's not having a great tournament. So you could have a possibility where maybe you just make, you sack bot lane, you just try to make the map super, or split the map, like Wonder goes ham up top, and you just say, Hjarnan, Wadded, hang on down there, we'll be there in like 25 minutes.
Yeah, and I think we do have to remind ourselves that RNG was pre-tournament favorite or top 2 for most people. You were expecting them to make a run to the finals until there's KT. Like, that side of the bracket looks so much to me like an RNG KT semifinal.
I mean, that should be the big one. Last thing on G2, I think they're happier to draw RNG compared to KT for the reasons we just highlighted right there.
All right, well, let's talk about our final best of 5 here in KT versus IG. Again, the best-looking Korean team here with the 1 seed. Whenever we get to those best of 5s, we always index a little bit more heavily into the strength of the Korean region, their experience, the veteranship, the coaching, and the organizational structure behind them. How do we feel IG's going to pair up against them, especially considering they had the downtick on their exit of the group stage?
I mean, the thing is I called Invictus Gaming budget KT at Rift Rivals. They play in a very similar fashion in terms of that they try to carry from every single lane, but they just don't have the consistency to do so. When they did run into KT, they basically bounced off them and fell flat onto their back. So they get another chance, but ultimately, KT, I think, are almost exactly the same as Invictus Gaming, but then have so much more on top of it.
Yeah, they're smarter than IG. IG will rely 100% on winning the early game. They failed to do that against Fnatic in the 2 games we just watched. Yeah. And that's why this matchup specifically, to me at least, is not great for IG, because the laners on KT's side are so scary.
I don't want to undersell IG, though. They went 18-1 in best of 3s in both the spring and the summer split. Their only defeats were in Game 5s against RNG in the playoffs, whether it was semifinals or finals. They were extremely close, I feel like, to winning either the spring or the summer split if they had won those Game 5s. So even though KT, I agree, is, you think, stylistically a slightly better version of IG, KT's not happy with this draw.
Right.
KT, I think, would have rather had any of the other Pool 2s. So that is a stacked quarterfinal, in my opinion.
IG can go the distance, and they'll have to against KT if they want to pick up the victory. Frost?
I mean, the mentality is that if coming into this Invictus Gaming and Fnatic were like our dark horses, you have to go through KT anyway if you want to win the World Championship. Like, that was just the expected outcome, so you might as well do it in quarters. Maybe that's the
That's always the thing you can look at.
Hey, look, you're going to have to beat them eventually if you want the title. I love